Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're taking complex top 1% financial strategies and translating them into a completely straightforward, step-by-step roadmap for total beginners. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by money, or honestly, if you just want to make sure you're building a rock-solid financial base, you are in the exact right place. You definitely don't need a finance degree to manage your money like the wealthy do. You really just need a clear plan and the commitment to follow it.
Right. Let's anchor this journey in reality. There's this old saying, if you don't know where you come from, then you don't know where you are, and if you don't know where you are, then you don't know where you're going. It's so true. You simply cannot build a roadmap without knowing exactly where your starting line is today. So we need to take an honest snapshot of your money before we do anything else.
Here is our exact itinerary for today. Step 1. Snap your financial picture. Step 2. Demolish your debt. 3. Budget like a dashboard. 4. Start investing strategically. And 5. Navigate those big life purchases.
Okay, step 1. Snap your financial picture. Finding your baseline.
To find that baseline, we have to get brutally honest about what's actually left over at the end of the day. It turns out the absolute most vital gap in your finances is the simple difference between what you make and what you spend. And we want to calculate this on a yearly basis, because that captures all those surprise bills and one-off expenses. Look, if you're in a deficit, meaning you're spending more than you earn, you are slowly bleeding money and piling up debt. But if you have an income surplus, well, that is the engine that's going to fast-track your savings, your wealth, and ultimately your freedom.
And that surplus naturally feeds right into your net worth. Now, net worth is just everything you own, your assets, minus everything you owe, which are your liabilities. Keep this in mind. While your income is what buys your lifestyle, your net worth is what actually buys your freedom. So it really doesn't matter where your starting number is today. Our singular goal is just to keep that net worth trending upward.
Moving on to step 2. Demolish your debt. Patching the leaks.
Before we can build wealth, we absolutely have to patch the leaks. Now, to be fair, not all debt is bad. A student loan that drastically increases your earning potential, or a mortgage on an appreciating asset, those can actually be useful. But if you're sitting on toxic consumer debt, like high-interest credit cards, we need a concrete strategy to clear it out. You basically have two choices here. The debt avalanche focuses on paying off the highest interest rate first. It's the most mathematically efficient route, and it's going to save you the most cash. Then there's the debt snowball, which focuses on paying off the smallest balance first, totally ignoring the interest rate. Why do that? Because it gives you quick, emotional wins to build up your confidence. Honestly, just pick the one that keeps you motivated and stick to it.
Step 3. Budget like a dashboard. Navigating your cash flow.
A lot of people think budgeting is all about restriction, but it's really not. Think of a 12-month financial forecast as your mapped-out road, and your monthly check-ins as the dashboard in your car, keeping you safely on track. A fantastic way to visualize this is the 50-30-20 rule. It suggests breaking your take-home pay into 3 main buckets. Half your income goes to basic, fundamental needs, like rent and groceries. A 30% slice goes to fun, things that are just nice to have. And a strict 20% is locked away to fund your future you, which means savings, investments, and extra debt payments.
To keep that budget humming along, you need those monthly dashboard check-ins. When you're reviewing your expenses, especially tricky things like utility bills or your grocery run, just ask yourself 3 simple questions. First, do I actually need this? Second, if I do, can I live with less of it? And third, can I get the exact same thing for less money somewhere else? You would be amazed at the easy wins you can find. I actually once saved $20 a month just by making a quick 5-minute phone call to my internet provider.
All right, step 4, start investing strategically, putting your money to work. This is where we get to the real engine of our roadmap. This is how you build wealth by putting your money to work instead of just letting it sit there in a dead bank account. But where you put your money depends entirely on when you're going to need it. Because the stock market can be a wild ride over a single year, short-term money, think an emergency fund or vacation, needs to stay in safe, easily accessible cash. But historically, the market is virtually bulletproof over 20-year stretches. So for those long-term goals, 15 years out or more, that money needs to be heavily invested to see some serious growth.
A question beginners always ask is, when do I actually start investing? Well, there is a specific 3-step sequence that perfectly balances your daily protection with long-term growth. First, save 1 month of living expenses, just so you can actually sleep at night without stressing. Second, clear out any high-interest debt. And third, build out your full 3 to 6 month emergency fund, all while you simultaneously start investing for the future.
Let's pause on that middle step for a second, because this absolutely blew my mind when I first realized it.
We specifically target debt with an interest rate above 8%. Why that number? Because it is mathematically almost impossible for your market investments to consistently outperform an 8% return after you factor in inflation. So, paying off an 8% loan is essentially getting a guaranteed 8% return on your money. You are simply not going to find a better, safer deal than that anywhere in the market.
Now, as you age and get closer to retirement, your strategy really must shift from accumulating wealth to preserving it. A fantastic baseline to help balance that risk is called the Rule of 10. Here's how it works. Take your age, round up to the nearest 5 or 0, and subtract 10. So if you're 32, you round up to 35, minus 10 is 25. That means roughly 25% of your portfolio should be in stable bonds, and the remaining 75% goes into growth stocks. Then, as you get older, that bond percentage naturally increases to protect your nest egg.
Finally, step 5. Navigate big life purchases, avoiding the major wealth traps. To finish up our roadmap, we have to actively avoid the massive roadblocks that derail most beginners. First up, cars. They are notorious wealth drainers, often eating up 15 to 20% of a person's entire annual income. To prevent this, strictly apply the 24-10 rule. Put a minimum 20% down payment up front, finance it for no more than 4 years, that minimizes your interest and stops you from going underwater on the loan. And finally, ensure your total monthly vehicle costs, including insurance and maintenance, stay under 10% of your monthly income.
Then we have the ultimate debate, housing. Buying a home is a massive financial commitment, and it's crazy how most buyers completely ignore the permanent sunk costs that you will literally never get back. We're talking property taxes, legal and evaluation fees, mortgage arrangement fees, and of course, maintenance. A really good rule of thumb is to expect maintenance alone to cost you 1% of the home's total value every single year.
Conventional wisdom from our parents' generation says that buying is always better, but honestly, that isn't always true today. Yes, buying provides ultimate psychological stability and slowly builds equity over time. But renting offers immense flexibility, zero maintenance costs, and crucially, it avoids locking tens of thousands of dollars away in a down payment. That frees up all that capital to be invested in the market instead.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. What would actually leave you with more wealth in 10 years? Locking your cash in a down payment on a house, or renting and investing that exact same money in the market? True financial literacy isn't just blindly following old advice. It's knowing that the right answer depends entirely on your specific market, your opportunity costs, and the step-by-step roadmap you just built. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now go take that very first financial snapshot